I'm Cameron Pleasant. Welcome back to the channel. Have you wondered what the top summon is in the game of Final Fantasy? A lot of people have, myself included. Do you want to find out what the top summon is? Come with me. Top 10 summons of Final Fantasy TCG. Let's get into it. In the 10th spot we have Shiva from Opus 3. A really good card. It costs 2 to play, and you dull 2 forwards your opponent controls. Now this could do a lot of things. There are certain cards that will break dull forwards. You got the fact that you can just go in for damage because if you've dealt 2 of their forwards, you're in a pretty good place. So Shiva at number 10, I really like Shiva. Cheap and affordable. So recommend Shiva in any ice deck. In the 9th spot we've got Cockatrice. 1 drop, EX Burst. Excellent card. Possibly could be rated higher than I've rated it today, but here we are. Alright, so choose 1 forward. During this turn it cannot attack or block, and it doesn't receive damage. So for example, you could have a card like Cecil, who has to block, and you don't want him to block because you want to keep him on the field for his effect. You could use that. Or you could just, maybe you're in the final damage for your opponent and you want to get in the last bit of damage. You can just stop their last forward from attacking. There's so many different combos you can make with this card. Definitely recommend it in any Earth deck. Such a good card. In the 8th spot we have Hades from Opus 6. This is quite a new card, seeing that it's come from the most recent set. I really value it. I play it in my ice deck myself. So if you're going for a deck that's doing discard, Hades is a really good card to play. It's not an EX Burst, unfortunately. Be very overpowered if it was. But you can break a forward with Hades, a dull forward, and then you have your opponent discard a card. So it's really good, especially if you can pay with your backups, you know, to save that mana, because it is quite expensive at 5. But I think for what it does, it is definitely worth 5. Especially in an ice deck which basically likes to dull your opponent's forwards. You can even activate it when your opponent goes for the attack, them not getting the attack in, and losing a forward. And you choose a good forward, obviously, but yeah, Hades I recommend in an ice deck. Get into Hades. In the 7th spot we have Opus 1 Leviathan. Now I know this isn't seeing as much play as it used to, but I still value this card quite highly. It's an EX Burst, so when your opponent goes for the attack, you can hit the EX Burst, send one of their forwards back to their hand, and then it can buy you time. Or even if you're swinging for game, Leviathan he can clear the field for you, get in for that last bit of damage. There's just so many scenarios where Leviathan is still viable. And I know with all the enter field effects now, it's not as good as it used to be. Otherwise I'd probably rate it in the top 3. But Leviathan's still good. I still recommend playing at least 2 copies in your water deck. Leviathan still has my tick of approval. Sticking with Opus 1 here, in our 6th spot we have Velafor. 5 cost. Expensive card, but this card is good in a scenario where you might be behind. It's basically Wynn's version of Shantoto. Not quite as good, I don't think, but Velafor's good. Sending all forwards back to their opponent's hand. Unfortunately it does affect you as well, but if you're behind in the game, it's a perfect out to buy you some time when catching up. And if your opponent has big forwards on the field, it can really slow them down. So I like Velafor for those reasons. I still think if you're playing mono wind, it's a card you're going to keep in your deck. Possibly 2, maybe 3, whatever your style is. Throw in Velafor. Velafor's still good. In the 5th spot, we have Opus 1 Titan. I still rate this card very highly. If you've got something good on the field and you don't want it to be broken, it is still there. So many good cards you can use it with, such as Cecil, the Don't Receive Damage Cecil. Still an excellent card in itself. But Titan, it just works. You dull a forward and it cannot be broken this turn. So essentially, you could go for a block, then play your Titan, and then your guy's not going to die, even if he's smaller than your opponent's forward. So I still rank Titan quite highly. I know it's not seeing as much play lately, seeing the new Titans out, which makes sense. But I still rank 2-drop Titan from Opus 1 quite highly. I recommend giving it another go. Alright, in the 4th spot we have Cyclops from Opus 2, EX Burst. Now, Cyclops is just a good card. If your opponent has bigger monsters than you, you can use Titan to reduce their powers by 3,000. If you've got something to combo it off with, like maybe some chip damage, some first strike, so many things you can combo Cyclops off with. And I recommend that still in Lightning, and I think a lot of people are still playing it in Lightning. Cyclops, just an all-around good card, especially against a small forward deck, say some Vikings, even some fire decks who run the haste. Cyclops, good card. Keep playing it. Okay, number 3, an old favourite, 7-drop Odin from Opus 1 EX Burst. What can I say about Odin? Just a powerful card. Breaker forward. Sure, it's not as prevalent as it probably once was, but the fact that you can hit an EX Burst and just break a forward is still good. There's nothing bad about that. And there's no counter to that. You cannot counter an EX Burst. So Odin being, in my opinion, possibly the greatest EX Burst in the game. You play it just for its EX Burst, so Odin at number 3 without a doubt in my mind. And even late game, if you need to get rid of a forward, you pay the 7 for it, as long as it's a big enough forward. Odin's good. Play Odin in your mono Lightning deck. It's a good card. Play it. In the 2nd spot, we have Opus 6 5-drop EX Burst Titan. Yep, there's 2 Titans on this list. This Titan is just insanely good, and I almost put it in the number 1 spot because it is a good card. No doubt about it. This card says you choose a forward, you control a forward your opponent controls, your forward gains 2,000 power, and then it deals power to a forward your opponent controls. So there's really good combat tricks you can do with that. You could block their forward, pump your forward, so your forward is bigger than their forward, kill it with the block, and then deal that damage to another forward. So it's essentially you can kill 2 forwards with Titan. That's how good Titan is. Plus it's an EX Burst, so if you've got big forwards, it's basically your Odin, if you're lucky enough to have big forwards. I rate Titan so high in an Earth deck. Earth mix, it doesn't matter. Titan is good. If you're not playing Titan, you're not playing. In the number 1 spot, we have Zodiac, Keeper of Precepts. I really like this card for the fact that it destroys all your opponent's forwards. You do have to take damage for each forward that is broken, but if you're playing the right kind of deck, so you want to play decks with maybe search abilities in your EX bursts, whatever you think that could work, you want to make sure you have the EXs to play off of Zodiac, because you're breaking all your opponent's forwards and then possibly getting some searches in. I think it's good. You want to play it with, say, Cam on the field, Cam or not. because then you get this, you get to search this off Camelot and then play it for 5, destroying all your opponent's forwards, and maybe getting a search off of an EX burst. Good card. I put it in the #1 spot for a reason. Okay, that's the top 10 summons in Final Fantasy TCG. These are strictly my opinions, not to be taken as the top 10 summons definitively. I personally have had a lot of success with these cards, and I think that these cards are brilliant. If you disagree, please comment down below what you think the top 10 summons are, or if you think that these are the top 10 summons, and you think that they should be in a different order, please comment down below. I would love to see what everybody thinks about their summons, because I just love to see people's opinions on this game. It is such a good game, and I want this game to carry on for a really, really long time. But that's the video. I'll have some matches coming up after this weekend to post to this channel. If there's anything you people want to see, let me know in the comments down below. Please like and subscribe, I really appreciate it. As I said, more content coming up, more fun to be had, and this is Tabletop Pleasant, and I'm out.